With less than a week to go until the UK general election, EGTV has taken to the road to find out what the property industry wants from its next government. In this first of a four-part election special, we are in Manchester. The capital of the North has felt the effects of the development stagnation seen nationally through the recession, with speculative development all but drying up. However, sentiment seems higher than expected, with agents optimistic and developers starting to work up new plans. Central to these is the cooperative group on site with its new headquarters, which is set to kickstart a 25-acre regeneration around Victoria Station. Manchester Council has intervened financially to kickstart further development at Spinningfields in a popular proactive move.
I don't think there is hardly anybody who works in Manchester in whatever business that would want to willingly see or would want to vote for a change of the Labour Party control in this city. Over the last 20 years in particular, the strength of the leadership and the leadership in terms of the politicians and the civic leadership has been exceptional. I think that is a view that is recognised and supported around the UK. They've achieved some fantastic things in the city, and I think we want to build upon the strength of their achievements to date.
I think with the inevitable cuts which are going to come, and hopefully not so drastic within the regeneration sector, we are going to have to look at new and innovative ways of financing schemes, and that could involve councils sharing the costs with developers more. We could be looking at tax increment financing, which is a model which has been pioneered in the United States, for example. But generally, I think if we can seek to keep local revenues for local projects, that would be a major step forward.
The City Council did a deal with Allied London to bring forward the remainder of Spinningfields. That's very important. There are initiatives to bring forward Victoria Station with Network Rail and Muse Developments. The co-op stimulation of that part of Manchester, the potential of Mayfield Station and bringing up maybe the Ministry of Justice and other departments to Manchester, are all critical to continue a civic renaissance. And that civic renaissance has been seen in most of the cities in the UK and must not be allowed to stop.
But as we edge out of the worst recession since the 1930s, is there much any party can do to stimulate the commercial property recovery?
There's a lot of bluster between the parties, to be fair, and I don't think we've really heard proper detailed policies. I think that at the moment it's more about style than substance, and I think that when whoever gets in is elected, I think that's when we'll start to see the real substance and the real detail in their policies come out.
If we have an administration which is conservative, either run or dominated, there's potential actually for a lot of change in the planning system, which is the bit of property I'm concerned with, which actually could cause a lot of uncertainty. What do I mean by that? Well, there's only really three ways you can run a development plan system, and in my career we've had all three of them. And what the Conservatives are proposing is really to go back to the old days, and given the amount of change we've had, I'm not convinced that's a good thing.
If you were to pin most investors, most developers down, what they're after in terms of this election, or in terms of an outcome of this election, is greater certainty that we've got at the moment, a clear message that the government will assist, if you like, in taking the brakes off development, trying to assist it come forward, attracting investment, certainly trying to look after the house building industry, and perhaps doing more than they are at the moment to actually, encourage people to invest.
I wouldn't like to see any uncertainty continue regarding the sort of future of the development agencies and who's actually going to be championing regeneration over the next few years. Is it central government? Is it the regional office for the government? Is it the RDAs? Is it the local authority? Or is it an urban regeneration company? We could slim that down, but we need clear direction as to which way that's going to go.
I'm not sure that the Liberal Democrats have planning very high on their agenda. You can't blame them for that, they have lots of other things to worry about, but we haven't seen as much thought put into the process as, for example, we've had from the Conservatives.
First and foremost, what we really, really must have is a sustainable economic recovery.
I don't think any of the parties have articulated to any huge extent how they would deal with the issues relating to property.
So there you have it from Manchester. Not a lot of confidence expressed in the national policies being discussed, described today as nonsense, as vague, as a lot of blustering, but almost a wholehearted endorsement of Manchester City Council here behind me for their pro-development stance. That's something property figures here in Manchester want to see more of after May the 6th.